This video is made for adult collectors because, whoa, the new one's gonna be huge. The chair's making stupid noises again. So, revealed the other day was Magmatron, the commander class of, well, next year at the time of recording this. And goddamn am I excited for this. I could not have bought this at a more perfect time. This is the original one, and I wanted to see how it would stack up to the new one based off the images, because it doesn't legally release till July 1st, though we all know that means end of May for most of the world. Magmatron was from Beast Wars Neo, and he was the main antagonist? At least for the bits I've seen, because I've only seen the first few episodes, but I'm getting there. I'm on episode number 4 right now. No spoilers, please. But this man is a great companion piece to Big Convoy, who was teased on the box, and man, do these look great together. But Big Convoy is a topic for another day. So I'm going to start with beast modes, because that feels like the most logical step. Dinosaur modes. Only one of them is a real dinosaur, but we'll gloss over that. Skysaurus, Seasaurus, and Landsaurus, or more accurately, Quetzalcoatlus, Elmosasaurus, and Giganotosaurus. Also, yes, I saw the Studio Series reveals, and I'll be getting all but the 86 guy because I like Deluxe Junkions more than Voyager Junkions. Now, these three are slightly scuffed in their own unique ways, and the new ones nail the dinosaur modes a lot more. Granted, the new ones are a lot bigger and more expensive in comparison to both toys' starting retail prices. Oop. He spins quite good. The Giganotosaurus looks great and is a nice blue with that metallic blue highlight to it, though the green robot chest and the arms sitting too far back do bug me a lot. I'm so glad the new one doesn't have that stupid green chest. And the way the chest piece slides into place, it's holding the throat in place just by literally holding it there. No tabs or anything, so the throat can rattle around a lot. But it's a pretty decent size for the time, and for what it does, he looks cool. You can load the missile into his mouth and then open it to fire them at your own face. And also monster tongue mode. The Elmosasaur looks the best in my opinion. Also, these dinosaur names are coming from TF Wiki, so if I get it wrong, blame the wiki. But this one's the best in my opinion. Everything is so enclosed, though the neck seems a tad long and skinny. I like how chunky and sort of short the new one is, because it feels a bit more realistic. I love the gradient detail and all the animal sculpting. It's not as accurate as something now, but for back then, they did a bang up job, I'd say. I also really like the standard metallic mushy peas green color that this guy is. And the fin gimmick is just fun to do. I don't know why, it just feels satisfying. One problem is the neck. Out of the box, it's usually strong, but seeing as this was a used one, the neck doesn't like to stay up. I'll fix it. I just wanted to show you on the video before I fixed it, and his mouth opens. Now the Quetzal. Dude is way too small if you're a dinosaur nut, because these things are like massive in real life. But he still looks neat, missing the bottom jaw because this was used, but I knew it was going to be missing it, so I don't really care that much. I bought it anyways. He stores extra missiles under the wings, which is really neat, and the new one does that too, which is very epic, though I wonder if the new one's going to actually have firing missiles. I don't think it will, but it might. The small part of me hopes it does. And when you pull his tail, his wings flap in that direction. But hey, at least it's something it does. As a group, these do look like a ragtag team of animals, and I do quite like it. So these guys are actually loaded with articulation. I mean, not a lot, but for what the time this guy came out, it's quite a bit. So we'll start with the Elmosa. Oops. He's spinning. I've never noticed that. I'm going to take his head off for a second. That spins quite a bit. Anyways, let's do the Elmosasaur first, because I feel like everyone's just going to want to see this thing. First of all, I want to point out that I kind of would like to see someone make it, because I'm not talented, make an upgrade head for this to turn it into a different fish. I feel like that'd be cool. His tail's coming untabbed. But his articulation is basically, this fin is on a ball joint, but the neck, every single segment is a ball joint. So you can pose it pretty much however you want. And then it slowly starts to unravel itself because the ball joints are loose. But what I do is I'll bring this up, and then I'll like rotate it here at the third joint and do that. That kind of gives it a more serpent-y look, which I like. I think is neat. But that's his oh, and then the mouth opens, like I said. Aww. The Quetzal's articulation is just in his legs. However, one problem I have with this is, if you notice right here, there's a peg sticking off this side. So the leg can only go back that far on this one side, unless you like move it out and around. So the legs, I would love for them to naturally sit a little bit further back, but you can't do that. You can do it on the other side, but you can't do that. But you got ball joint and 2 hinges on either side. Then the neck has, out of focus, a hinge here, here, and here. So you can, oh, I unpegged that. So you can pretty much do whatever you want. And then if yours had the bottom jaw, it would open and close. And then the wings do that. Not the most posable bird thing in the world, and I just noticed all the yellow paint that's just randomly here, but it's not terrible. And then we have the Giganotosaurus, or as I used to call it when I was little, Gigantosaurus, because I didn't know how to pronounce it. The Giga, who is still standing at that kind of upright position. You can position him lower if you want to, but then his head's constantly looking down. Oops. Now that pops off very easily, actually, is this ball joint here on my copy. Stand up straight. But his articulation, the arms are on ball joints and hinges, so they can pretty much, or not ball joints and hinges, just a ball joint. So they can pretty much go wherever you want. The hinge is technically on the inside. It doesn't really do much in this mode. Hips can go back and forward, in and out. No thigh rotation due to how all this works. You have the second knee right here, and then you have his foot. So you can actually, as you consistently unpeg the tail, because the tail loves to just come out all the time, you could potentially get him into a running pose. Kinda. There you go. There you go. That's not terrible. That's pretty neat. Now let's do robot mode. Or, well, you'll see the thing in a second. I do ever so slightly wish that they could do individual robots, but like there seems to be small problems with stability in those combined modes like Magnaboss and Tripredacus, so I'm kind of okay with this. Now, before we actually do the robot mode, there is another mode this guy has. Prepare yourself. So the Dinosaur, the only prep you need to do is that. Like I will do him in a minute. And he fell over again. Stay. Alright, the Quetzal, we're just going to fold this back and clip it into place. And then just sort of fold these up like that. And now the Quetzal's set up. Now the Mosasaur, which is where a majority of the transformation comes from on this combination. So we're going to start by taking this whole section and bringing it up. Folding these out like that. Just bring this up and out of the way. And then flip it upside down. I also like to fold the fins in. It just makes life easier. Now you take the Giga and you take the tail and you insert it into that hole there while clipping it into the top of the Dinosaur like that. And then you want to take the arms, bring them out like so. We'll just fold them up for now and fiddle with the rest of them later. And then you take this, fold it back. Take this entire section here, just sort of bring it around. Bring the arms down because they're going to get in the way. Bring this all down like that. Now, in here, there are 2 tabs that slide into slots right there and there, just like that. Bring this section back. Bring these forward and up so that they are face down, like so. Then you want to take the Giga legs, bring them forward, fold down the feet. We're going to then place it on the ground. Make sure all the feet are sitting nice and flat. Then you take the pterosaur and you plug him in to the top. I believe it's the other way. Yeah, it's... there we go. And then you can take the tail and just position it how I'm just going to do that. Come on, tail. There you go. That's a thing. Yep. Dino Orgy mode is what I've come to call it. This is a thing. Okay, now that I've shown you this, let's do the actual robot mode. Yes, the new one can do the Dino Orgy, by the way. Alright, let's put him in actual robot mode, shall we? Take the Quetzal, take him off. Take this thing, take it off. All out of the way. Start with the Giga. So, Blue Man group here, you just straighten out his legs like that. Bring his shoes out. Peg them in, fold up the claws, fold out the heels. Bring your shoes out. Make sure the legs are actually straight. And then there you have his legs pretty much done. Now I'm going to remove the tail because it just makes life easier because it keeps falling off the ball joint. But this is also where the That goes in there. We're gonna take that out. This just sort of closes up like that. You bring this section down. There goes my dog. Open this section up. Peg the crotches together. That looks familiar, doesn't it? Kingdom Magmatron. And stand him up. Now, one thing about mine is he's a bit wobbly because this heel spur folds out a bit further than this heel spur. And it's very weird. So when he's in robot mode, you might see him leaning a little bit because this side is heavier than this side because of the shield. So now you want to take these flaps and open them up, rotate the arms back, before you do that, pull the chest plate out, rotate the head, rip out his gullet, bend this down, and then we're gonna leave it. Now the Quetzal, who's already mostly transformed, bring this up and around and over. Now this peg will go into the side, as well as a peg at the bottom there. Go into the base. And then he falls out, because I'm an idiot. Also, here's his head rotation, which he doesn't actually have when you get to robot mode. Peg this in, again, slide this forward and it clips into place and down. Now you can fold the hands back and in. Then these sections come down and around and they peg into the front. Just like that. Come on, there we go. Just like that. And then we lean him back a bit so that he's actually standing up straight. Now this thing, the Mosasaur, you want to extend it and then separate it. This just sort of folds like that and becomes his shield. This becomes his arms and his shoulder pad. So let's see how that works. So he's gonna need to be flipped around. You fold up the Quetzal tail. You take this section, you fold it back. Then we're gonna bring the arms down. We're gonna focus on this. We're gonna rotate these around. Bring the thumbs in like that. Fold this section forward. Now what I like to do is take this shoulder and fold it out. Now as you can see, this clip here is gonna go into the back of this, so you just clip it in. And at the same time, this is going to peg into the torso. So this part can be a little tricky to line up. There we go. And once you have that all in place, then you swing the shoulder forward and it will peg into the side. That's making so much noise. And then for the tail, you can orient it however you want on his back. I personally do it this way and then just sort of bring it through, peg it in to his shoulder like that. Make sure that's pegged in. Now the tail. The tail's like this. The ball joint goes back on and it pegs into here. I've also forgot to fold these out. There's bits within the legs that are so stiff. There we go. And that's the robot. As you can see, like I said, he's leaning to one side a little bit because my heel spur is messed up. This will peg into here. Like that. He's leaning. And then the sword hilt splits open. You plug the sword in. And this is an extremely tight fit into his hand. It pegs in. Bolt Matrix warned me that this might break at some point, so be careful, I guess. But there you have him. Now that's a villain design. Winged crown, dinosaur shoulder pads, claws all over the place, and he even has tiny shoes. It's such a goofy design. I love it. The colors both work and don't work, but like in a fun way. He can also hold his sword and his shield for maximum attack or whatever, but the gorilla arms kind of kill it for me. Thankfully, the new one has wrist swivels. A lot of people seem to have issue with the back of the new one, but like the old one isn't that much better. It's just a Magmatron thing. He's also about Voyager height, so once you start putting him next to other things, he looks less intimidating. But removing Megatron, and man, he looks intimidating. The head is very nice. I love the teeth and the tusks and the sculpting on the face, making that epic scowl. What I don't get are the random red claws. Where are they supposed to come from? So the Quetzal has yellow claws, the Elmoza has no claws, and the Giga has blue claws. So who has these red ones? Where do they come from? It's always kind of bugged me. It looks cool, but they don't actually come from any of the animals, which is weird. Now his articulation is very, very limited. The head doesn't rotate, like I said, because you lock it in with this. The shoulders, both of them are on universal ratchets, in and out, forward and back. You have bicep rotation and elbow bend, but there's just gorilla arms, so his hands only curl. Nothing at the waist. Hips can go forward, back, in and out. His tail can come right off. And then the knees bend, and that's basically it. Not the most posable thing in the world. That's what you'd buy the Legacy one for, but it's still neat. Let's just get this back in place. There we go. Well, bam. Magmatron. Almost forgot his name. So yeah, this is epic, and I definitely think it's worthy of that new commander who's on pre-order right now. I've secured mine the other day. But should you get the old one? I mean, if you're one of the collectors who is like a one-and-done collector who buys one version of a character, then no, I wouldn't recommend this because you'll probably be buying the new one. But if you're someone who has multiple toys of certain characters, this is definitely a worthy pickup. Just for like less than 100 to 150, because $200+ that I see it go for sometimes is way too much. But that's my look at the original Magmatron. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.